Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Apostate Weekly. I'm your host, James.
I'm Ryan.
And this week we have stories on murder, floods, and protests. So we got a lot going on with just these few stories. So
Good news cycle.
with that, let's get into the intro and get into the show. Do.
See, it's good. It's a good little jam. Just
Man,
blood flowing.
I fell in love with that song from the very moment I heard it. I'm like, that is such a great song.
It tickled your funny bone.
It did.
And it sounds like it's tickling your funny bone.
It tickles my bones.
Okay,
Good morning,
now
Mom
we're going to
and
move on.
My femur.
Okay, that's my ass and toddler. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome.
Oh,
We've got a doozy for you today. It's a
we do, and I know we did a special yesterday, and I'm going to start off with this. We did a special yesterday on Martin Hawk's son and what happened with him. So if you haven't checked that out, go check that out, please, because we did a special show just about his son, and I'm hoping that the viewers will agree that we did a better job of commemorating Sam than he would have ever gotten at a Kingdom Hall for a funeral.
Agreed.
And also, if you didn't join us yesterday either, I also started a GoFundMe for the family's funeral expenses. The link for that is in the description of the show today. So please, if you find it in your hearts, go help their family out with their funeral expenses, and let's show them how much love that we really have for them, unlike the organization that they came from.
James, I have a math problem for you.
Shoot.
If 100 people to 150 people watch this show and they give, and everybody just gives $5, they just don't get their coffee today and they give $5, how much would that be?
That would be 750 if it's 150 people.
See, that's just like that, y'all. We can.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be you giving like $1,000. You can just
give
$5. But if we all give it, I'm going to give 5 after the show. Maybe I'll even make a community post just to show in good faith, like, here's my 5. Just to encourage people, $5, but hundreds of us doing it, we can fill that up real quick.
And I want to make something clear about this too. Okay. I am not taking any of this money whatsoever.
Of course not.
As part of it. Some people might want to think about that, but no. Every penny is going to the Hawk family. On top of that, I also heard that GoFundMe does not charge a service fee. I don't know if that's true or not. I have to look into that. So I'm hoping that is true, because that means they will get every last penny of the stated goal. I put in as a goal, and I'm hoping we can reach it, of $5,000 from the entire community to help them out with their funeral expenses and all that. So that's my goal, and we've got like 4 weeks to make this goal.
That's awesome. I think that's very attainable, super easily attainable. I'll ask you all to, if you donate, if you're able, and we do understand if you can't, but what you can do is you can share. You could share it to Twitter. Yes. There's put a tweet, Exjw, just say, hey, this is a former Jehovah's Witness, a whistleblower, has done so much for the community. His son passed away. We want to support. I know you don't have that many characters on a tweet, but you catch my drift. If you can't donate, you can just share, and somebody else might see it and want to help.
And Twitter, Facebook, any social media you may have. Like I said, the link is in the description for it. If you are having trouble finding it for whatever reason, reach out to me or Ryan. We'll be happy to send you the link so that way you can help out, because we really need to pull behind them, because this was just such a terrible thing. And I think if we can get this for him, I think it's going to go tremendously. It's going to go so far for him and
Not
taking
even
care of
that.
these expenses.
And not only that, I think just knowing that we even care enough.
Yes.
To me, like, even if you gave me $20 and you were like, hey, everybody pitched in $1, that's all we had, I would just like, that would bring me to tears. So I'm sure that Martin, he's such a big, kind-hearted soul. I'm sure that will really just touch his heart.
I'll even share the screen for you right now, so that way you can see what the GoFundMe page looks like.
Yeah.
So this is the page. This is what it looks like. So that way you know you're on the right page.
Yeah.
And also, I found out too, if you want to remain anonymous in your donation, you absolutely can, because there are some anonymous donations already. So shout out to those who've already made donations.
Guys.
Thank you so much. I've been trying to, with every donation so far, GoFundMe gives you an option to send a personal message to each individual. I've been trying to make sure I send at least a thank you out to everybody who has donated. So, and I'm going to keep on trying to do that as well. And, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And I hope we can reach our goal. And I think we absolutely can.
We can together. And I have a tip before we go off of that topic. Don't tip GoFundMe. I thought that when you tipped, it meant that the fees, I thought the tip was covering the fees that GoFundMe takes from the pool of money. It doesn't. It's just to go help we don't care about GoFundMe. They're mega rich. Don't tip them. Just give the $5 to Martin for Samuel and the funeral costs, and don't worry about the tip. Don't feel guilty about that at all.
Yeah.
Corporate greed. They don't need it.
It's almost like the tip in a drive-through. Tip us. Why?
Well, I mean, I don't mind tipping, but I'm not going to tip I'll tip a person, but I'm not going to tip a huge corporation. So save your 90 cents or whatever it is and just, give the money to Martin.
So with that being said, I'm going to thank everybody in advance for whatever kind contributions they are able to make. And let's get this done and let's help out our friend.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Let's move on to the news now, shall we?
Time for the news. We've got a few stories that are just going to rattle your bones.
Yes, we do. Which one would you like to start with first today?
Why don't we start with the elder? That's just so big.
So we go from one murder story to another, right?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
This is sadly
No, it's fine.
It's sadly the state of the world, right?
It is, unfortunately. So this just happened a few days ago, and this was in your neck of the woods.
Yeah.
In Philadelphia. An elder, and we know this because I was watching the news report for this story, and one of the neighbors that was interviewed specifically mentioned how the perpetrator was a Jehovah Witness. The neighbors knew. And this guy stabbed his wife and was it her mother or his
her mother? It's his mother-in-law. Yeah.
Okay, his mother-in-law.
Right.
And in their basement. And this was on Tuesday afternoon. They said probably between 11 and 12 a.m. And the victim's names here is Angela Trejo. She was 75 years old. And Alma Barberena was 58. They were stabbed to death in their basement by this guy, Ernest Ransom, on Thursday, not Tuesday.
Okay. Wait, what was his name?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did you
I
say?
read the wrong name.
I was
That's
gonna
the
say, I thought it was
inspector's name.
Leandro or something.
Leandro
Yeah,
Barbarena. There, I'm
yeah.
sorry. I was looking at
That's
the
okay.
wrong
There's a
name.
few names in there, and they're
Yeah,
probably I think they're,
they were all like
Spanish descent or
kind
something.
of bunched together too.
But yeah, the
And
dude freaking killed his wife and her mom.
yeah, like what is going on with these witnesses? I mean, how many times in the last, well, how long have we been doing the show now? Has it been like a year and a half?
Probably, I think.
Because I mean,
I don't know, something like that.
well, if this December will be coming up on our 2-year anniversary of the show. So about
Okay,
a year
so
and a
yeah,
half.
it's a year and a half
And
about.
I know we say we're in season 3 right now, but we try to keep it split up to make it easier for people to navigate on the channel. But in that time, how many different ways have we seen witnesses get murdered that we've reported on?
Oh gosh, there's been I don't even really want to say, but there's been the kabooms, there's
Yeah.
been the those, there's been a few
There
different
there was one
instances of.
where they were out in field service and they got shot.
Oh yeah, right. Guy sitting in his car.
Yeah, not even doing nothing,
Mm-mm.
waiting on the people to come back to the car.
It's
And oh,
unfortunate.
we had that other one in England not too long ago either. Remember?
Wait, which was the England one?
They had the video of it with the guy with the blood stain on his pants and
Oh,
everything.
right, right. I don't even know whatever came of that. Did we ever get any
I'm
kind of follow-up? It's hard, you guys, it's really hard to find follow-ups. I promise you. A lot of
yes,
times they just report on the news once, and then unless there's something big that happens afterwards, like a trial or whatever, there's like no, it's forgotten about.
yeah.
You have to know somebody.
It's like when we reported yesterday about Sam. The story in the news says that they are still investigating further details in this matter.
Mm,
But I guarantee you the news isn't going to share those details because it's just a to them it's just a quick little side story and let's move on to what's happening in sports today.
would yeah, that's their job is just to keep us up to date, but most people fall off because there's so many to keep on top of.
Yeah. I
which
mean,
which is very
we're
sad that that
more
is the case.
we're more of a niche kind of news source here because we follow up on specific stories, in specific groups, not just the whole area or
Yeah,
general areas where we live like the news stations do. So, but even then, finding follow up information is not easy. You
right.
know, I know we had a follow up on the Kurtala bombing, but that was because something actually came of that and was worth reporting.
Yeah, there was a few updates where people continued to pass away from it, because of their injuries, and I'm not even sure
Yeah.
if any of that was because they didn't take blood transfusions, and some of this information is difficult to suss out. Um,
Yes.
so our poll, everybody I mean, I guess I should have suspected. Everybody said so far that yes, abuse inside of the Jehovah's Witness organization is more prevalent than realized. And I think, eh, as far as I'm concerned, that this had happened before with this man. I do not think that this is the first time that he laid hands on his wife. That's usually not how domestic abuse goes. You don't get caught the first time that you put your hands on somebody. It's
No.
usually escalated to the point where it's so bad, either the police have to come or an instance like this, the person passes away.
And then what kind of police records are there on this? Did they have prior incidents where the police were called and the police dropped the ball and didn't do anything to separate the two?
Yeah.
We get that all the time when it comes to these domestic cases because police, their hands are tied in a lot of times as far as what they can do too.
Yeah. I mean, the law
So
can only do but so much. True.
yes, and this is just sad. I mean, because I mean, like you said, it built it. This is something that built up and escalated over time. And then it culminated in this guy murdering these two women in their basement of their home, which is just so stinking terrible. It's ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah. That's what it's domestic. It's in your own, right?
oh,
Like it's your own damn home.
see, I missed this part, Ryan. I
What?
missed this part. The news report here says that police say they received no prior calls for reports of domestic incidents.
Okay. But just because that is the case, I believe that many JWs would not, from my own experiences, from my own lived experiences, a lot of the JWs won't call the police.
Correct. Because they'll want to handle it internally. How many
Exactly.
times did that lady or both ladies
That's
go
the
to the
question.
elders and
That's the
nothing happened?
question. That's the question. Now he's
Yeah.
an elder, so he has authority. He's got power. He's got influence. So even if she did take all the necessary steps to report it to the elders, somebody in her congregation she felt safe with, he's got that je ne sais quoi that can just shut it all
Yep.
down and
Yep.
silence
You
her.
know, the elders' bodies in a lot of ways, from what I've seen, I never was an elder or on a body, but from my observation, they were all a good old boy type of system in a lot of ways.
Yes, the good
Now,
old boy.
now there were those outliers, and I believe my father was one of those outliers who wasn't part of those good old boys, but they went to the elders and told the women to treat his ass better. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
probably right, Apostle Babe. You,
Don't they try to
yep,
switch it around? Well, are you understanding him? He's probably stressed. He has a lot
yeah.
on his plate. He has so much responsibility.
Are
Like
you giving him his marital due?
I'm disgust like I want to
You
vomit,
know,
but
yeah,
that even just kind of triggered me a little bit, but it's a typical
yeah.
saying.
And Dad, if you're listening, I'm sure you are. Tell me if I'm wrong or if we're right on some of these questions that we're presenting, because you would know better than I would.
Yeah. And just think, you guys, like I don't did they mention if they had children or not? But regardless, right, whether or not they did or did not have children together, now we have to think of how this affected the children growing up in that environment, continuously possibly being silenced if they spoke up, or believing that this is typical, normal, acceptable behavior because nobody ever stopped dad from doing it. It's really, we don't, I don't know that people really understand the repercussions of not telling children this is unacceptable when they're young, when they're influenceable.
Hmm. And also, when you have a system that is so insular like that, and you're always telling victims in the Kingdom Hall to go to elders, and elders don't handle things the way that they should be handled. They only handle them according to the way they're told to handle them, which 9 times out of 10 isn't the right way anyways. They're going to think, well, they're doing the right thing when they're not. And they're just keeping on in this cycle of abuse and being put down, and never know how to get out of that because they were never taught how to. And my dad did
Yeah.
comment. He said, you were correct in your thinking. So thank you, Dad. Appreciate that. So
That's why it's important to provide children with education and how to recognize. That's why we teach children at a young age what's acceptable touch, right? Things of that
yep,
nature. It's also important that we teach children what's acceptable behavior to be treated, what you should and should not accept from people. It's
exactly.
boundaries. And I don't know about you, James, but I was not really taught boundaries. Of course, like I wasn't supposed to have sex. But that was kind of like the extent of what those boundaries were. I didn't know how to rationalize certain experiences, conversations, because I wasn't taught like what to say, what to do, what to think, how to feel. So it's all just this confusion, at least for me when I was young, on things that were inappropriate, because if you were told to hug somebody, you got to hug somebody.
Yeah.
Right. So even if your boundary was like, I don't want to, maybe it's just you didn't want to hug. Maybe you just didn't feel like hugging today. Whatever the reason was, you got to hug. You got to touch. You got to accept somebody older than you with authority telling you what to do with your body.
Yeah.
And to what extent.
And then that even, and sad to say it this way, for women, that even extends into marriage. You know, you're supposed to let your husband do whatever he wants, when he wants, whether you want to or not. So you're not taught boundaries. You're taught to just take whatever you're given.
You don't have autonomy. You're not an individual. You are always part of the greater whole when you're a Jehovah's Witness. Individuality, get the fuck out of here.
Exactly.
Inappropriate.
Okay. Well, with that being said, I'm going to take a quick little intermission here on this story before we go on to our next one. And I'm going to remind everybody that this is the last week we are streaming to all 3 channels. So please be sure next week we will only be streaming to Apostate Weekly only. So if you haven't subscribed to there, please go over there and do so you can stay up to date with our show and all the latest news that we bring you, because we will not be on Apostate Coalition or the former Two Free channel after today. This is it. This is your last chance.
That's it. We're going into our own little world now.
Also, as a way of reminder too, please hit the like buttons as well to help the YouTube algorithms get out. And if you are catching the show and you got to jump off for whatever reason, try to come back to it later or play it in the background, because the watch time really helps out as far as hitting the algorithms and everything.
It does, you guys.
And
it's big on YouTube.
We've been noticing with all the things we've been doing, what's the word for it? The statistics on the channel.
Oh yeah, the analytics and stuff, right?
The analytics, thank you. I couldn't think of that.
Analytics. How did you not remember the analytics? Gosh.
Analytics.
Yes, the analytics. James has been steady looking at our analytics.
Yes. Our anals are getting licked.
He's been very obsessed.
Don't
know what he's doing down there.
This went to the crapper.
Oh, flush.
But it has been helping out, though, especially with all the stuff we've been doing with all the shorts and everything, and helping with the watch hours and everything. So thank you everybody for doing that. We really do appreciate your help with the analytics.
Yeah. Really, you guys, because we are so small yet. I would love to hit 1,000 in the next couple months. I mean, I'd love to hit it next month. I'd love for everybody to move over from AW and move, AC, Apostate Coalition, and move over to here to Apostate Weekly. That would be amazing. That would be like my goal, would be in the next couple months to reach 1K. So yes, the likes, the shares, the watch time, the comments, those all matter. Thanks so much. You guys are amazing.
Yes. Thank you so much. And we really are trying to grow this channel so that way we can get this out to more people and help people, and also let them realize that there is a community and help out there for anybody, not just if you're leaving the Jehovah's Witness, but any religion.
Make me.
Apostate babe, you're just as immature as we are, and you know it.
Right? Stop with the licking talk. Okay, fine. Yes, hitting like.
She licked me. She licked me.
Okay, now that's different than hit. I don't know which is worse, and I'm not going to comment.
All righty then. So, shall we move on to our next topic of the day?
Yes, please.
Okay. We are moving on to a story here in Brazil.
Brazil.
I think it's Brazil.
Brazil.
Pronounce it right.
Brazil.
Excuse me. So this is not surprising, but in a way it really shows the Jehovah's Witness hand and how they deal with things. And it's not as bad as a murder story, but it's still disgusting.
It's really disgusting. I'm like heebie-jeebie, like, ew.
Yeah.
Why?
So let me go ahead and I'll share the screen for this story so everybody can see it here.
Is this on the Reddit? Okay,
this is the actual
news article.
I have the actual news article.
Sweet.
I'm fancier than that.
Fancy pants
Reddit.
McGee here.
So just take a look at this headline. Jehovah's Witnesses ask believers to avoid donating to victims in Rio Grande do Sul.
Wait,
So,
James, before you get into it. So does that mean if somebody saw the GFM being passed around for, let's just say Martin, that they would be like, "Oh, we shouldn't be doing that. We don't know if it's a scam." I'm disgusted.
well, this article talks about that very thing,
Yeah.
actually. So let's get into this, shall we? So first of all, article starts off saying the leadership of Jehovah's Witnesses in Brazil has asked its faithful to avoid making donations directly to flood victims in Rio Grande do Sul. Instead, they recommend that contribution be made via the church's PIX. I don't know what that means. I'm guessing their website or their local congregation.
Hmm.
This was translated from Portuguese, so that's
Oh,
why there's a
okay.
discrepancy in the
Right. It's probably
translation.
yeah, it probably has something to do with the way the Jehovah's Witnesses receive funds.
So the document advises if your congregation has not yet been invited to help, why does the congregation have to be invited to help? We ask that you do not make personal arrangements to send donations. Again, why do we have to be invited to help? Well, I mean, like, you're supposed to
Mhm.
be following Jesus and his love.
Mhm.
Is Jesus going to wait to be invited to help somebody, or is he just going to jump into there and do it?
The Jehovah's Witness organization regularly discusses how you should just jump in and help people. If you see somebody doing something, don't ask, just help. At least that's how I was taught. And they gave an illustration of a man who was outside raking his leaves, and everybody walked past the leaves at the congregation. Everybody walked past and said, "Oh, brother so and so, do you need help?" And he said, "No." So he just did it all by himself until one brother just picked up a rake and started helping. And
Well,
because he needed the help, but you shouldn't ask. You should just do it. So that's a little confusing, a little hypocritical.
and here I'm actually going to draw back on my own experience when I went to Pioneer School, and I remember this was a lesson they taught. Now this is going back 24 years, y'all. Okay, but I still remember this. One of the lessons they had us do, we were to go out in the field ministry one of the days, and they told us to help the householder out with something around the house, if they, especially if they were older or more feeble, and they needed the help. It could be as simple as moving a trash can in for them, picking up a newspaper, something like that, right? But they told us to look for opportunities to help like that. At the time I'm thinking, wow, that's really good. They'll see that we're good people and this and that, and so we're going to go help these people. This is completely contradictory to what I was taught at that school.
Yeah.
They're actively telling people
Don't
not to help.
don't
Don't help unless we tell you to.
don't trust anybody else. How can you trust anybody else with your money? Trust us so we can
Yes.
build multi-million dollar buildings.
So let me move on here with what this article continues on. And this was actually the part we were starting to get into that I said we're going to touch upon. So it says it also discouraged for believers to start or participate in virtual fundraisers because the intention may be good, but you never know who is behind it and whether the amounts raised will actually be sent.
Oh, is that the
Are,
case?
are they talking about themselves here?
Yeah.
Like,
Methinks doth protest too much.
don't contribute to the Jehovah's Witnesses because you never know how much of their money is going towards child sexual abuse cases in court.
Oh, wow. Look how we can turn that argument on its head.
Exactly. I mean, this is the kind of
Shenanigans.
self-righteous bullshit that they try to pull over their members, and the problem is the members don't see the other side of it.
No, they'll just say, "Oh, yeah, that's right. We should be very cautious to give money to anybody else. We don't know what they're doing with it. At least we know if we give to the organization, it's going towards Jehovah's work."
Right. But the uppers in the organization, the upper management knows where this money's going, and they know it's not all going towards these disasters and all that either. So they're sending the hypocrisy all the way down and just diluting their members, making them think that we're 100% on the up and up when they're not even 1% on the up and up.
No. Very disappointing to discourage people from helping their neighbors in a time of need.
It doesn't get any better.
No.
Shall we continue on with what this talks about?
Keep going.
It gets worse.
Dig yourself. Go deeper.
Yeah. Let's go deeper. So it says here that they said there's approximately 2,000 of the witnesses that were affected by the flood already receiving assistance, right? But this is a kicker sentence right here. Furthermore, it is recommended that believers only accept help from federal government programs. Only federal government programs. Why can't they accept help from their neighbors? Oh, wait. Maybe they don't want them accepting help from other churches in the area to show them how hypocritical they're really being.
Yeah. To see that other churches probably do community work and outreach, which the Jehovah's Witnesses don't do because knocking on the door is not community outreach.
So remember when we last year reported on the Hamburg shooting in Germany, the Kingdom Hall shooting?
Yeah.
Okay. Now remember what the community did for the witnesses at that congregation?
Oh yeah, they did a vigil.
Yes, they held a vigil. What did the Jehovah's Witnesses do? Do you remember that?
Yep, they said they could not partake. They did not want them participating.
They would not attend the vigil that the community, out of the loving kindness of their hearts, put on for them. No, we're going to be self-righteous bastards and we're going to have our own vigil about it, and we're not going to attend yours. Come to ours, though. Please come to ours, but we're not going to yours.
Right. That's how welcoming we are.
Yes.
You're welcome on our territory, but we don't want anything to do with you. We don't want to get our feet dirty in your territory.
So, Ryan, I got a question for you. How is this article here any different than that story when it comes to how they're handling things? Minus the murdery part.
Oh, you mean the separation, like, of the Jehovah's Witnesses against other people? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, exactly. How they're two-faced and how they'll want to do their own thing, but not participate in the community parts of it that are helping victims.
Exactly. You're only so much part of the community just to get what you want from them. Like Jehovah's Witnesses, like at their job, any place that they frequent, likely the only reason that they're reaching out to you, being friendly to you, is because they want to witness to you. And if at any point you make it clear that that's not something you want to do, like the friendliness, that's all done with, because it's always going to be us against you, and they only want you as much as they want something from you.
Yes.
I hope I explained that okay.
Oh, yeah. No, you did fine. And like Apostle Babe says, that's because they won't do any form of interfaith activities. And that's spot on right there. They won't.
And I don't, it's not good faith. Like, to me, if you're so rigid in your belief that you can't even step foot into another church or area where people are worshiping, what kind of, I don't know how to explain it. That's strange. It's unnecessary.
And I haven't, okay, I've heard this on other channels. I have not seen any actual proof of this. So correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, anywhere. Somebody watches it later. I've heard that when witnesses go in and help with a disaster, of course, they only help their own people, which is apparent here from this article. But then if there's an insurance claim on somebody's home or whatever, right, the witnesses will come in, help you rebuild your house, with the volunteer work and all that. Then they'll send a spokesperson or whatever to the owner of that home saying, hey, we reboot your house, you need to sign over that insurance check to us.
How dirty. So
Now,
basically they're getting paid.
yeah.
They're getting paid like it's a job. They
Mhm.
just contracted a job. They've got free labor.
And no,
They get paid,
okay.
but the workers don't get.
I'm gonna correct you a little bit right there.
Oh,
And
go ahead, go ahead.
there's a reason why, okay? I have a good reason. They did not contract the job. A contract would have been a licensed contractor that would have been accountable for the work they
Well, I
do
know they didn't
if they
contract
mess up.
them.
And that's why I'm making the distinction here, because
Okay.
now if you have the volunteers come and put that person's house back together for them and they screw it up,
Right.
they're
You would have some kind of repercussion if there was any kind of real contract or whatever, like, they put the plumbing in wrong and your house floods or whatever, and then it's
exactly.
ruined. The Jehovah's Witnesses can go, wasn't me. But if you have a contract, at least you can say, no, you're gonna fix this.
And
But if it's a shoddy job,
speaking of houses flooding, did you hear about this stuff going on in Brazil with these floods?
oh yeah, I've heard that the Jehovah's Witnesses don't want people donating to organizations who are helping the community.
And do you want to know why they don't? Here's why they don't. It's right here in the article. It says,
Okay.
because they consider themselves careful in the use of donations to avoid duplication of efforts, confusion, and waste of money and materials. Common situations when brothers act on their own. So we can't trust you to act on your own because you're all just little children.
Oh
How
gosh.
infantilizing is that?
Yeah, it's so infantilizing. They treat everybody as if they cannot make their own decisions, and everything is fed to you like a little baby bird.
I mean, the
You don't know how to
audacity these
handle your
people
money.
have.
You
No,
can't handle your money, so you give it to us and we handle your money for you.
that's right. And you get to do that the rest of your life, even if you're 70, 80, 90 years old. We don't care.
Mm-mm.
You're still just a little child.
Yep. Wild.
Ay, ay, ay. These people.
Yeah, you guys. Thank goodness we don't have to deal with that anymore. Oh, yeah.
All right. So let's take a little other announcement intermission. If you haven't joined us on the Apostate Coalition on the old Discords, you should do that. We have great chats in there.
Ooh, join us.
Please, everybody, raise your hands if you haven't joined our Discord server yet. No, don't do that. But if you know how to use Discord or want to learn how to use it, feel free to reach out to us. We'll help you get the hang of it, because it is rather daunting at first.
Oh God,
When you get in there, if you don't know what's going on, you see all these chat rooms and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, I get lost. I'm like, wait, what chat room was I just talking in?
Little word of advice. If you want to join our Discord, find the general chat, and that's the best place to start. That is the active thread in the whole thing, and that is the best place to start. And then you can branch out from there. I'm dropping the link for you to join in the comments right now. So if you haven't joined, you can come join us over there. All right.
Join the weirdos.
Yes. Join the weirdos. Ryan's in there.
I'm here. I'm there.
So am I. Got one more story I want to share with everybody.
Okie dokie.
This is a good one, though. This is actually good. So remember how there was protest in DC last year?
Yes, I was there.
Well, this year it's on a better day. I think it's like a Saturday.
Oh, good. That might make it easier.
Or a Friday. It's either a Friday or a Saturday. So the Shun No More 2024. It is September 13th. Let me look up what day that is of the week exactly here. Oh, just passed it. September 3rd. It's a Friday. Okay. So Friday, September 13th in Washington, D.C., the Shun No More protest is going to be held. And of course, we know what shunning does to families and people who have left the organization. And we want to bring more awareness to this and get our government to recognize how harmful this is and start to take action against it. And unless we bring attention to it, the government and lawmakers are just going to keep looking right by it and not caring. So we
Yeah.
got to stand up and we got to speak out for those who cannot. And that's
Yes.
why we do these things.
100%. I would like to get a link put up at some point, like an automated email link. I have to write everything up, which I think I mentioned before that we should do for the channel, to give like a call to action.
Yes.
For people to email their reps and just mention what the bill is about and why we should support not the bill, but like if we wanted to write about a bill about the clergy penitent privilege, about shunning, we could put specific topics like that.
And I know last year they had a PA system set up so people were able to get up and share their experiences over a PA system publicly in Washington, D.C. for anybody who wanted to stop and listen to hear. I don't know if they're going to do that again this year. I would assume they would.
Probably.
But if, as you see here, custom signs are welcome to the protest. It says there's a survey on the Be Free Movement's website, which I have not been to that website. This article here is from avoidjw.org, and the link is in the description. So you can probably navigate your way and find the website for that through there if you want to. But if you can make it, it would be great if you could. It's on a Friday, which I might be able to make. I'm going to see if I can make this. I would love to be there.
Yeah, I'm going to try to be there.
DC is only like 3 hours away from me, and I could even go to work the night before.
Awesome. Yeah, I might be there this year. That would be awesome to meet up with everybody. It's not that far away.
No, not for you and I, really. But I mean, there were people that came in from all over the country and world that were there last year.
Yeah, I met a few people from the UK. I forget where else, but I heard a lot of different accents. Oh, yeah. Yay!
So, but yeah, I wanted to bring that up for everybody because I think that's a big, important thing for us to get behind as well. So, be there or be square.
Yeah, I'd love to see everybody there. That would be awesome.
Yes, it would be. And it's also great too, just to meet your fellow XJW activists in person.
Mm-hmm. It's encouraging, just like for some people, going to meetups or, whatever. It's just a way to, I don't know, solidify why you're doing what you're doing. It's good to have reinforcement of people saying, we have to continue this work, because it's always encouraging to be around people who have the same, ideologies and stuff.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, we all, especially as ex-witnesses, we all have the same or similar backgrounds, and we understand the lingo from the cult. And we know when we're there, it makes us feel less alone and know that we actually have support out there. Yeah. Sometimes virtual is nice. We can keep in touch from all over the world, but those in-person interactions are important too, because those are when you can really form the bonds of friendship with others that you really can't do online.
Agreed. Online is great. I love online, actually, but it is nice to meet up.
Yes. And if I do make it and anybody wants to give me a hug, you have my consent.
Oh, yay. That's awesome. I didn't realize you guys had a meetup. That's really cool.
Awesome. Yeah. Joe
and
Fran go to meetups all the time. They're always posting on Facebook.
They're out and about, man.
They are.
They do more than I do.
I know.
I have no social life. Me and
For
Pickles.
clarity, the title was changed from Be Free to Shun No More. I did just call it the Shun No More, though. I didn't call it the Be Free. But yeah, because last year it was the Be Free.
Mm-hmm. They might just be saying, just FYI.
Yeah.
So people know. Or, pardon me. I don't know what the signs are going to be, but I guess that's what they're asking people to fill out the form for. They're trying to determine what people put on their signs, I guess.
No, I don't think that's what it was for.
No,
I think it's just a survey. I guess just to kind of get an idea of like I guess different backgrounds. I don't know. I haven't seen the survey, so I really couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I didn't fill it out, so I wasn't sure what it was for. Pickles. So. You have to wait, baby.
Okay, Pickles. We will wrap up the show right now. So
she's nudging me.
That is all we have. Now next week, we got some other big stuff coming up next week already. I saw some stuff pop up this morning on my feeds that I would have loved to have reported on, but time is of the essence on this show, and the stories we had were just some big stuff, and I thought deserved additional coverage and talking about. But we've got some more stuff about Philip Brumley coming for you next week.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
That freaking liar. Remember, he was fined by the courts over $150,000.
Mm-hmm.
What is going on with dear old brother Brumley?
Oh, I'd love to know.
Giving everybody a little teaser for next week. So join us and find out what is going on with dear old Philly boy.
Wait.
So that is just a little sneak peek for y'all for next week. As always,
liars.
Thank you everybody for joining us this week. And again, please don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and shares. And we will see you all next week only on Apostate Weekly, and only on Apostate Weekly, no other channel.
That's right.
Be there.
Exclusive. We're going to be just as exclusionary as the Jehovah's Witnesses.
That's right.
You have to join the Apostate Weekly Club now. Sorry, guys.
That's right. You could be one of the cool kids and be in the Apostate Weekly Club.
We won't disfellowship you. Don't worry.
And you can also find us on Facebook and Twitter. There is an Apostate Weekly Twitter now and an Apostate Weekly Facebook group you can join us on as well. So please feel free to join those and share stories, share anything. And we look forward to seeing you all there in the Facebooks, the Twitters, and the Discord. So have a great week, everybody.
Listen, oh, baby, bless. Love you. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Like, share, subscribe.